England, who is second in the country in three-pointers made per game. Connor Avance jumping for North Dakota, and it's Zach Braxton winning the tip back for Weber State. And the Big Sky Conference championship game is underway from the Reno Event Center in downtown Reno. North Dakota 21-9. They went 14-4 to win the Big Sky title. Inside to Kyndahl Hill, and the rebound knocked free. It's controlled by North Dakota. Kyndahl, the sophomore from Minneapolis. Give and go to the basket. Kyndahl drops it off. Nicely done inside to Connor Avance. North Dakota on the board first. They won both regular season meetings from Weber State this season. Although Weber leads the all-time series 9-3 and 3-0 in Big Sky tournament matchups. The pull-up off the move. Ryan Richardson no good. It's out of bounds. It belongs to the Fighting Hawks of North Dakota. These teams met in the championship game at Brian Jones' 11th season in North Dakota and the Big Sky Conference Coach of the Year. But these two squads met in Ogden in the 2014 title game, and Weber State winning that one at home. This is the second year that this tournament is based at a neutral site. Last year here in Reno, it was Weber State beating Montana, and now this is the second year it's hosted in Reno.
Well, they're a team with a lot of experience, fueled by some great guard play out front. Well, like you mentioned, North Dakota with the advantage this season with the sweep so far. Both veteran teams.
All five starters back for North Dakota from a year ago, and driving to the basket is Zach Braxton to pull Weber State even.
Braxton, we talk about the guard play, but make no mistake, Weber State's going to try to take advantage of the play of their big guys inside. They feel like they have an advantage.
Nice feed to Connor Avance from Drick Bernstein. No relation, by the way, Corey.
You got a lot of athletes in your family.
I had to point that out so we avoided the family resemblance.
Yes. I would say he's the tallest person in the Bernstein family for sure.
By a landslide. On the move, the freshman from the corner, a three from Jarek Harding. And Harding, who moved into the starting lineup the last 4 games, as Connor Avance has all 6 for North Dakota.
North Dakota doing some really nice things off the ball screen, unselfish play. They know they can rely on their guards, but they're getting the bigs involved early.
Knocked out of bounds by Corey Baldwin of North Dakota. But Connor Avance having an impact early. He's had a good tournament for North Dakota.
Well, they're going to dare him to roll. They've got those guards up front that attract so much attention, but they're just a nice basic move, drop pass, an easy 2 for him.
Tightly guarding Singleton. Open is Kyndahl Hill. And the rebound controlled by a skyward Corey Baldwin. And a steal. Jarek Harding racing up the floor for Weber State. And the freshman from Wichita gives Weber State a 1-point lead.
That was a bad play right there by Kyndahl. He knows better to dribble in traffic like that. Easy 2 points in transition for the Wildcats.
Inside Avance. Left that one short of the rebound. Kyndahl Hill. Singleton off the dribble. Lost it in the lane. Gino Crandall racing back the other way. Drops it off to Quentin Hooker. He can't get it in transition, and it's Kyndahl Hill the rebound. Good pace back and forth. We expected this, 2 high-scoring teams.
Neither team afraid to run. Both coaches want an up-tempo game. May come down to foul trouble and who has enough energy to finish strong.
Ryan Richardson stepped on the end line.
We talked about up-tempo. You have to take care of the ball. The turnover in the open court results in an
good flow to this matchup. So far, Corey, what's it like when you're playing with an NCAA tournament berth on the line?
It's absolutely nerve-wracking. Every play of the game is either making your season shorter or making it longer, and you try to block it out, but it's virtually impossible.
Connor Avance has all 8 for North Dakota. And a hot start. He only averages 9.7 points per game, so just under 10 a contest, and he already has 8.
That's huge for the Fighting Hawks to establish an inside presence. Like we said, you know about the scoring of Hooker and Crandall out front, but right now they're having to take a little bit of a break and let the big fella put in work.
Jarek Harding on a drive, and he has 7 of Weber State's 9.
So fast with that high finger roll floater. That's some good shot blockers out there, but that's a great take.
So starting the last 4 games, and we asked Randy Ray about it, well, why'd you make the switch so late in the year? He goes, it was simple. Jarek Harding is just playing better. He deserves to play.
That's old school. You do the work in practice, you get rewarded with minutes in the game, and he's kept it up. And deservedly a starter right now.
Nice feed on the reverse, though missing is Kyndahl Hill. Is the pass from Ryan Richardson. Drick Bernstein leads the break. Bernstein to the basket. And the rebound controlled by Jarek Harding. Harding a pull-up, fouled, and will go to the line. And the freshman has come out and has been aggressive for Randy Ray and Weber State. Last year, he was the Kansas Player of the Year. And Randy Ray said, look, if he was about 2 inches taller, I wouldn't have him. He'd be at Kansas, he'd be at Wichita State. But teams missed on this kid, and I'm happy they did.
It's unfortunate, guys sometimes go by the book, looking at a player's stats, but you can't measure heart. You see the tempo, you see his ability, the way he can score. He might be a little bit undersized for some of those leagues like the Big 12 and the Pac-12, but there's no question he can get it done.
That was on Baldwin. And Harding, who's an 85% free throw shooter, already with 9 to give Weber State a 3-point lead. Josh Collins off the bench for North Dakota. So is the 7-footer Carson Shanks. Dusty Baker is in for Weber State. Is in the lane. Shot missed by Cortez Seals, who was the Big Sky Reserve of the Year this year, essentially the 6-man award for the league. Jeremy Senglin fires from the corner, and Senglin hits his first shot. It's Weber State by 6.
It's about time we've heard from Senglin, a capable guard, kind of waiting his turn. That's a nice step back right there. He fakes the backdoor cut, toes it up. It's nothing but net. He's a guy who has a high motor. We talked with Coach Ray today. He is not worried about him getting tired in this championship game. He's going to let him go 100%.
Foul was on Jarek Harding. As Weber State not a deep team, essentially Randy Ray only uses 7 guys. Quentin Hooker on the drive, but it may have to go a little deeper today, considering both teams are playing their 3rd game in 3 days. It's an offensive foul, a charge on Josh Collins of North Dakota.
Josh Collins should have settled for the 15-footer. He's wide open, but decides to drive. Hands up, take the hit, textbook charge. Well in front of the no-call box. Maybe he wasn't completely set, but that's obvious. Offensive foul there.
Okay, Cannon running the point right now, the sophomore from Shelley, Idaho. Cody John is in as well as Senglin, now 2 for 2.
And that's what happens when you hit the first one, Roxy. The second one's easy. That's a playground move. He really wasn't open. Just one dribble, pull up, nothing but net.
10 straight for Weber State. Gino Crandall the miss, but the tip in by the 7-footer Carson Shanks. The transfer from Utah State. Weber State, one of the best shooting teams in college basketball, percentage-wise. As the Wildcats are 12th in the country in overall field goal percentage, as Jeremy Senglin is rejected.
Big-time defense right there by the Fighting Hawks.
Transition 3. Quentin Hooker the miss, and the rebound. Here comes Cody John for the Wildcats. So Weber State also 2nd in the country at just under 42% from 3-point range this year. Marquette has the best 3-point shooting percentage, and Weber State is 2nd. McKay Cannon, right on cue.
Great ball movement. You talked about their high field goal percentage. When you got guards that penetrate and look to pass, everybody's got wide open looks.
Quentin Hooker, the pull-up. Weber State is 4 of 4 outside the arc. And a reach and foul. It's on Gino Crandall of North Dakota. His first personal foul. That's the third on North Dakota. And some early trouble for Brian Jones, the Big Sky Conference Coach of the Year. Played at Northern Iowa, former Steve Alford assistant at both Missouri State and Iowa, and still very close with the UCLA head coach. In fact, talked to him yesterday before their semifinal game of the Pac-12 tournament, where they lost to Arizona last night. Dusty Baker into the key to Kyndahl Hill, and the finish.
Unselfish play, little drive and drop. When you're surrounded by guards, all Hill has to do is wait on the ball.
And a hot start for Weber State. 3 seed against the top seed in the regular season champs, North Dakota. Connor Avance backing down. The weak side follow, Drick Bernstein for North Dakota.
Right there, you see Hill for Weber State going after the block and leaving the offensive rebound wide open for the Fighting Hawks to get the putback.
Bernstein's dad, Rod, played 9 years in the NFL as a tight end with the Broncos and the Chargers. Played his college ball at Texas A&M. Pull-up 3. Too strong from Dusty Baker, who leads the Big Sky Conference in three-point percentage at 57%. To the basket, a quick dart. Quentin Hooker with the bucket. It doesn't matter if it was goaltended or not. Still goes for Quentin Hooker. 15 on ESPN with the reveal of the NCAA men's field of 68 as the teams are announced. Both are also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Jeremy Singleton getting a breather right now for Weber State. There's Ryan Richardson. Shot clock at 6. Zach Braxton in the lane, short, and the rebound, Cortez Seals.
Solid defensive effort right there by North Dakota. There were about 5 or 6 ball screens that they defended very well, and they ended up forcing a very bad shot.
Seals the pull-up. First points for the sophomore from Eldridge, Iowa. Big Sky, look, this is a one-bid league. The winner, they're going dancing. The loser, the dreams come to an end tonight here in Reno. They probably will play in a postseason tournament, but it won't be the NCAA. And a foul on the drive, and it's Zach Braxton picking himself up.
And you play the entire season to get to this point, and it's so hard to not let those emotions affect how you play and decisions that you make. Constantly checking the scoreboard, seeing how much time is left to get to the big dance. Fallon
Cortez Seals. Zach Braxton, a 54% foul shooter, rattles it in. Champ Week, and all the drama continues Sunday with 2 more championship games on ESPN. The SEC title game at 1, Kentucky and Arkansas. And the final automatic tourney ticket will be punched by the winner of the Frontier Communications American Championship, Cincinnati and SMU. That one tips at 3:15 as always. Both games streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN as Braxton makes both. And it's again a 6-point game for Weber State. Here's Bernstein, nice feed inside, the reverse. Off the mark from Corey Baldwin. And the rebound control, the physical rebound from Zach Braxton. On the go to the basket, the quick burst by Cody John. And John, who started the first 28 games, but then off the bench now the last 4, giving way to the freshman Jarek Harding. It's out of bounds to Weber State.
North Dakota's got to do a better job of getting back in transition. This was off a rebound. No one's home. Coast to coast for the finger roll. Too easy. Then they want to tighten up defensively.
Weber State beat Southern Utah here on Thursday night. And then last night beat Eastern Washington. They trailed at 14-2 from the outset last night. as Zach Braxton called for an offensive foul, and it's his second personal. And Randy Ray, who 4 times himself has been named Big Sky Conference Coach of the Year, doesn't agree.
And you see he's just taller than the defender, and that left elbow whacks him right in the face. Not intentional, but a clear call, trying to create some space and post up the little guy.
In their win here Thursday, Weber shot a season best 61%. They made 11 of 19 from 3. Then last night, after getting down 14-2 to start the game to Eastern Washington, as Connor Avance with 10 points. And it's a 6-point game. But down the stretch, Weber State made the plays. They came back, they took it over, and they turned it over just 6 times in the ballgame last night.
And that's what championship basketball looks like. You stick to your plays. Nobody does anything fancy. Low turnovers, because as you know, turnovers are game killers in college basketball, especially when you're playing against great competition.
Harding inside, and Dusty Baker, and 1.
Wow. Baker in traffic. Was looking to pass, but had enough strength to get it to the rim. Nice little cut, takes it in, challenges the big man, and he'll get the and 1. Everybody for Weber State chipping in on the scoring tonight.
Fallon Connor Avance. Baker at 83% foul shooter. He's the oldest player on the Weber State roster. Having served an LDS mission in Denver, he's married, and he has the +1 free throw to put Weber State up 9.
I like his game, but I got to question the first name, Dusty. I don't know if I'd like being called Dusty.
Rattle in a 3 for Quentin Hooker. So Hooker, who passed Phil Jackson in this tournament on the all-time scoring list for North Dakota. Over 1,700 career points, and 7 for the senior from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Of course, Dusty Baker is a tremendous baseball name as well. Cody John. Here's Quentin Hooker. On the drive, Cortez Seals. Deep 3 from Gino Crandall. And the rebound, Kyndahl Hill. Cody John attacks. Jarek Harding, another 3. That one rattles out. And the rebound pop free, and here comes Gino Crandall for North Dakota. Step back 3 from Corey Baldwin. He'll have a chance at a 4-point play. Foul on Dusty Baker.
Well, you're looking at some high-level basketball right now. Just a one-on-one play by Baldwin.
ACL in their win against Cal last night. How does that affect the Ducks going to that matchup with Arizona tonight as Corey Baldwin gets the 4-point play?
It's so hard to measure how that's going to affect them. Forget about the 3-pointers he makes. Forget about the dunks. Forget about all the block shots. I mean, he affects the game in so many ways. It's not possible for one player off the bench to replace what he brings to Oregon. He's that defensive presence in the paint. He's part of their transition offense. He makes great plays, and they've all got to pull together as a team to replace all of that.
Boucher, leading shot blocker, as well as a 3-point threat. It's terrible news for the senior, who's had a nice couple of years with the Oregon Ducks and a terrific kid. I feel awful for Chris Boucher.
No question about it. The Ducks poised to make a deep run in the tournament. He's a key player on that team, one of the best big men on the West Coast, and tremendous blow to the Ducks.
Third 3 for Jeremy Senglin. That's already 5 threes for Weber State.
And Roxy, they're good threes. Threes in transition, threes off the penetration and kick, and a couple of nice little step backs. They're not forcing any bad shots.
Pull up by Cortez Seals. Jeremy Senglin, who has 9 points, is now 6 away from tying Bruce Collins for the all-time Weber State scoring lead. Cody John had it poked away, off his leg, out of bounds. We're going the other way with North Dakota.
They're faking the dribble handoff. Sometimes they're giving it, sometimes he's taking it, but right there, a little miscommunication. You're 1 second too late, and that's 3 points.
Losing the ball is Quentin Hooker, but he got it right back. Open is Corey Baldwin for three. Second three for Baldwin, who's a 42% three-point shooter, having a terrific tournament. He's averaging 17 points for the first two games for North Dakota here in Reno.
That's a nice recovery right there for the Hawks. It was about to be transition going the other way. The big-time three brings them within two.
Knocked free as Gino Crandall tipped it. Baldwin racing to the basket. We're tied. Corey Baldwin with 9. And a timeout for Randy Ray. And this year with 21 wins, it's the most for a North Dakota basketball team since they were a Division II team in '99 and 2000 when they won 23 games. So it's the most wins ever for North Dakota since they've elevated to D1. Kyndahl Hill in the lane. Racing back the other way is Gino Crandall for his first points. Second time that North Dakota's been in this championship game. They lost it at Weber State in 2014. It's the fourth time in the last 5 seasons, the last 5 Big Sky Conference tournaments, that these two clubs have hooked up. And Weber State has won the previous 3. That one rims off from Jeremy Senglin, a tough shot. And it's a North Dakota basketball. We're tied. The under 4 timeouts here with Weber State. Connor Avance with 10 for North Dakota to lead all scorers. Quentin Hooker has 7, the 2-time first-team All-Big Sky performer for North Dakota, while 9 each from Jarek Harding and Jeremy Senglin to lead Weber State. Quentin Hooker for the lead, and North Dakota goes on top.
Give those 3 points to Coach Jones. Dialing that play up out of the timeout. You see that at the NBA level. Guard drives baseline, opposite guard goes to the corner. Great execution out of the timeout.
North Dakota's made their last 4 shots, and Hooker is a 44% three-point shooter on the year. 2 good shooting ball clubs in this championship ball game as Drick Bernstein called for a foul. And Weber State going to the line. A good crew working this Big Sky championship with Greg Nixon, Tommy Nunez, and former Montana guard Deldre Carr, who played in this conference. Kyndahl Hill to line, a 75% foul shooter. And one more coming for the senior from Humble, Texas. Hill's a little bit banged up, seemed to tweak his foot last night. And their semifinal win against Eastern Washington's Randy Ray's team is down 1.
Weber State needs to lock in defensively. They're so worried about getting off and running in that transition offense, kind of blowing some assignments. North Dakota's made him pay with a couple of 3-point shots.
Drick Bernstein, the kick to Quentin Hooker. 5 to shoot. Hooker runs over Hill, offensive foul. First on Quentin Hooker.
It's good discipline right there by the big fella. Anytime you're getting challenged by a guard, your reaction is to try to block the shot. But he just slides over, throws his hands up, and takes the hit.
A good job by Hill to make sure he was outside the restricted area. (39-38) North Dakota. Trying to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. And they've been to the Division II tournament, but never to the Division I. As Kyndahl Hill puts Weber State on top.
I like that call. Big fella sacrifices his body, gets you the ball. You reward him with the one-on-one post-up.
Stepping in for the 2, and it rattles home for Cortez Seals.
Roxy, both teams are playing a 4-out, 1-in offense where they've only got 1 big man. So you're going to see a lot of guards penetrating, getting layups and kicks because there's only 1 big man out there on both teams, and they're using that big man to set screens. So guards are getting all the way to the rim. It's going to be interesting to see who can keep that up.
North Dakota picks up the loose ball. It's Quentin Hooker with a strong take to the basket.
Like we just talked about, only 1 shot blocker out there for Weber State, and Hill was trailing the play. Take it all the way to the rim.
When you're playing your 3rd game, Corey, in 3 days, is the advantage to the offense or the defense in a matchup like this?
Advantages to the offense. Defensively, when you get tired, you make mistakes. You start reaching, you start grabbing, you get out of position. It's foul trouble, free throws, and turnovers. Offensively, you just got to concentrate and try to keep pushing yourself. But a lot of teams, when you see fatigue show up, it's on the defensive end first.
Foul going for the rebound. It's on Kyndahl Hill of Weber State.
Right here, a little stumble. Good team defense. Guys reaching, but getting down on the floor, getting after it. Once that ball comes out, it's all the way to the rim. Dakota has taken control of the tempo and the momentum the last 3 or 4 minutes of this game.
From down 10 as Weber State came out blistering hot for the floor. They're still shooting at 56%. But North Dakota's gotten hot. They're at 58% now for the game.
58%. They're shooting tough shots like that one.
Count it for Cortez Seals.
This is just one-on-one. Get into the paint and be bigger than the defender. Not a great shot, but right there, just a little confidence. I'm going to take you down as soon as I get in the lane, up and over. Nice little one-on-one.
First on Cody John. Seals a 66% foul shooter, the top reserve this season in the Big Sky. And a tie-up. It stays with North Dakota as the 7-footer Carson Shanks active going after the missed free throw.
Hawks are really getting after it. Weber State has to rebound defensively as a team. They can't just count on Hill to grab all the boards. 6 straight
for North Dakota. As we approach the final minute of the first half of the Big Sky championship game in Reno. Shanks can't handle the pass. Leads to a 4-on-3. Open is Dusty Baker. And the rebound controlled by Cortez Seals and the Fighting Hawks. And Brian Jones will utilize that use it or lose it title history. So Weber State is used to being in this situation. And again, North Dakota trying to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time as a Division I program. Seals gets inside, draws contact for Baker. And it's the second foul on Dusty Baker as Cortez Seals will go back to the line where he's 0-1.
Once again, Coach Brian Jones drawing up a play for Seals out of the timeout. He's got the hot hand, and as soon as they got the ball, he went straight to the rim. You want to try to ride the guy that's scoring some points for you.
Spins out for Seals. As North Dakota, when they joined Division I, they were in the Great West Conference prior to joining the Big Sky in 2013. And they'll only be in this Big Sky Conference for one more season before they move to the Summit League.
Weber State needs a good shot here, and then possibly a defensive stop, kind of end this half on a high note. They've kind of gone cold.
Here's Jeremy Singlin. Trying to end a 7-0 run. Singlin, pull up 2. Rattles out, Dusty Baker cleans it up. Quickly North Dakota. Crandall finds Corey Baldwin. And that'll take us to halftime. An up and down, entertaining first half in Reno. And North Dakota leads Randy Ray and Weber State 46-42 in the Big Sky Conference. From 3, Weber State 5 of 10. And North Dakota with 4 of 8 in the first half. 12 from Quentin Hooker, lead all scorers for the Fighting Hawks. Connor Avance with 10. And then Weber State led by 9 each from Jarek Harding, the freshman, along with Jeremy Singlin, who was 6 points away from tying the all-time scoring record at Weber State. And a foul going inside to start the second half. Weber State will put the Wildcats to the line, and Zach Braxton. Fouls on Quentin Hooker, his second.
Coach Randy Ray wasting no time, starting the second half with his big lineup, both bigs. First play goes inside to draw the foul. Braxton sidelined with 2 early fouls. Didn't see much action in the first half, but you can bet Weber State's going to pound it inside in the second half.
It is big day for the Braxton family as Zach's younger sister is a freshman at Montana State and a starter for the women's team at Montana State. They won the Big Sky Women's Championship earlier today, and now Zach, the big brother, playing for the men's championship here in Reno. So it could be a tremendous experience here in Reno for the Braxton family.
Well, a little pressure on Big Bro to get it done. Sis got her ring. Brother's got to get one too.
He got one last year. They've won 2 of the last 3. Beautiful pass. Gino Crandall going inside, but it's missed by Connor Avance.
You cannot miss a pass that good. Unbelievable vision. You got to finish that one.
The pull-up. And Jarrett Harding, the freshman, has 11.
He's been on cruise control, taking his shots when they're there. Hasn't really forced anything.
Down the drive.
Like we said, nothing's been forced. He sizes up the defender there, rejecting the screen, and he takes advantage of that. You're going to see that a lot. Both coaches not wanting to let the guards use the ball screens. They're going to try to push them away and keep them from penetrating.
First foul on Jeremy Senglin. Corey Baldwin goes to Drick Bernstein. Bernstein powers his way to the basket.
A nice strong move there, facing up, seeing the defender, taking it right to the 10.
North Dakota led by as many as 6 in the first half. Inside to Kyndahl Hill. Hill to the baseline on the jump hook, and he has 10. North Dakota trying to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time as a Division I team. And Weber State, they're used to being in this situation, a chance to get to the big dance. 17 times now they're in the Big Sky Conference Championship game as Connor Avance the miss. Jeremy Senglin pushes. Foul on the drive. And it's against Gino Crandall of North Dakota, his second.
Right here, you'll see a strong move by Bernstein. No relation to the 10 for 2. And at the other end, Hill, post moves 101. Go middle, come back baseline with the feathery jump hook. Good to see that post play is not dead. Big men with skills. I like it.
I like when you say strong take there by Bernstein.
You take it strong every night. We're together, buddy. Little zone look right here.
Harding, the reverse on the baseline, attacking the 7-footer Shanks, and we're tied.
That's a good solution right there. You don't take time to set the zone offense, just Harding one-on-one.
Corey Baldwin from deep, and he's fouled on a 3. The second time in this game that Baldwin has been fouled on a 3. In the first half, he made a 4-point play as Jarrett Harding called for his second. Corey Baldwin, 59% foul shooter, having a tremendous tournament here in Reno. And trying to continue it here in the championship game, now 1 of 2 at the line. He had a double-double in the quarterfinals against Portland State. And then Baldwin pumped in 16 last night in the win against Eastern Washington.
It's a mystery how a guy like Baldwin, such a great shooter, only 60% from the line. That's just concentration. He's got a great stroke.
And he's 42% from 3. But he goes 1 of 3 on that trip. 1-point lead for North Dakota. Ryan Richardson, the pull-up. That one rims off, and the rebound controlled by Baldwin in North Dakota.
Weber State has to attack the offensive glass. They're standing around and watching each other shoot jumpers, and everybody's just going back on defense. Got to get some purple shirts going to the glass.
Gino Crandall hits the 3.
Cannot fall asleep. Even if Crandall's going away from the action, he's too good of a shooter. You got to stay with him.
Zach Braxton missing, and Randy Ray pleading for a foul. Right at the rim, Braxton trying to ram it home. Quentin Hooker launches. Short in the corner three, tipped out of bounds by Braxton. And it's a North Dakota basketball. Randy Ray, the all-time wins leader in Weber State history, part of the Stu Morrill coaching tree, but then it goes up further to Mike Montgomery, back to Judd Heathcote. Tremendous coach and a four-time Big Sky Conference Coach of the Year.
Like you said earlier, familiar territory for Weber State. Been in this game 5 out of the last 6 years. Doing a great job there with that program.
Carson Shanks the miss. Jeremy Senglin is fouled and will head to the line. North Dakota, 4-point lead at the half. It's still a 4-point game.
And they're doing a great job of finding each other. Kyndahl on the
14 losses. USC, who's got a win over UCLA. They also have a very good non-conference win against SMU's. Jeremy Senglin at the line for Weber State. Here's the resume for Syracuse. Explain to me how they should get in over USC, if you can.
I'm not even going to try to take up that argument. You make a great point. You look at the quality wins. That's great that they beat Duke. But then there's talk of Duke trying to be a 1 seed if they're able to win. And that's a team that hasn't finished that well in their own conference, finished 5th in the ACC. So hopefully the selection committee will see things our way.
Jeremy Senglin the rebound.
All due respects to Joey Brackets.
Foul out top. It's on Corey Baldwin, his third. I find it hard to believe a scenario where the Pac-12, the Conference of Champions, only gets 3 teams in the field. And look, those 3 are legitimate Final Four teams, although there's some concern with the news surrounding Oregon and Chris Boucher, who's lost for the season now after tearing his ACL last night. As Corey Baldwin has to check out. But certainly Arizona is playing Oregon tonight in Vegas for the Pac-12 Tournament Championship, and UCLA.
And you're right, the selection committee, ultimately, it's a statement about the power of each conference. When you look at the number of teams that get in, there's some great basketball being played in the Pac-12, and they may not be properly represented.
Jeremy Senglin fouled on a step-back 3. That's his move. He loves to do that, hesitation and step back. He's so quick with the dribble. And believe me, North Dakota is well aware that's what Jeremy Senglin loves to do, yet he gets fouled by Gino Kyndahl.
Jab step, comes back, and you've got to have the discipline to contest and just play the percentages. A lot of times when a hand is up, the percentages go down. No need to foul the shooter.
Senglin hits the first of 3, now 3 of 3 at the line. And with 12 points, he is now 3 away from tying Bruce Collins for the Weber State all-time scoring record. Senglin now 2 for 2 this trip to the line. Championship week, the drama continues. It is the Pac-12 championship game presented by New York Life, Arizona, and Oregon. The top 2 seeds at 11 Eastern from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN as Jeremy Senglin gives Weber State the lead. So take you a little bit south from Reno to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 championship as Connor Avent's missing inside, and Kyndahl Hill clears for Weber State, who has their first lead of the second half. And Jeremy Senglin has just become the all-time scoring leader in Weber State history.
Take him to the playground, young man. That's just transition basketball at its finest. When you got a senior guard, you always want to tell guys, hey, let's get some looks, let's work around. But when you got Senglin, nobody else needs to touch the ball. Just dribbles down, raises up, nothing but bottoms. Great offense right there for Weber State.
So he's become the all-time scoring leader in the history of Weber State basketball. Last year, Senglin was the Big Sky Tournament MVP. He's also the Big Sky Conference all-time 3-point field goal leader. As Senglin, who has made 4 threes tonight, 336 for his career. Tough shot in the key, way off from Cortez Seals. Last touch by Braxton, and it stays with North Dakota.
And Roxy, you're starting to see the big lineup of Weber State pay some dividends. Hill contested that shot. Braxton went after the rebound. They've got more size on the court now, so they're able to get after those guards once they break down the defense and keep them from finishing.
Weber State 4 of 6 from the floor to start the second half, while North Dakota just 2 of 9. 8 straight for Weber State to go up 4. Senglin runs it down. Senglin racing to the basket, and he's fouled the drive. It's the second on Cortez Seals.
And North Dakota has had to go to their big lineup to match the size. And right now, it's advantage Weber State. They're getting stops. Senglin forcing the issue, like we said. 3 games in 3 days, no problem for that young man, as he's the first player down the court in transition.
So now 2,021 points for Senglin, and the all-time scoring leader in Weber State history. $16 fouls now against the Fighting Hawks, and the next one puts Weber State in the bonus for the rest of the night. Second chance here for the Wildcats. Jeremy Senglin.
He's in his zone, Roxy, knocking down threes. Got the ball on a yo-yo, taking people to the rim. They got to get a timeout and discuss the Senglin issue.
To give Weber State 6-point lead. There's Quinn Hooker's stats tonight on the right. Senglin this year now 123 threes, a single season record for Weber State. There's Connor Avance battling inside with Zach Braxton, and Braxton gets called for his 3rd foul.
You know, Roxy, it's still a 6-point game, but a couple of more of those highlights by Senglin, it might be time to start thinking about a box and one or some kind of gimmick defense to slow him down, because right now he's just having his way with the defense.
The problem, if you go with one of those junk defenses against Weber State, is, yeah, he's the great scoring shooter, but they have a lot of really good shooters they can throw out there on the floor.
Absolutely.
Second best 3-point shooting team in college basketball, 42%. Behind only Marquette. Quinn Hooker tracks it down. Still 15 to shoot. Cortez Seals spinning inside. Dusty Baker picks up the rebound.
And that's a Seals shot. It's made a couple of times earlier in this game. Came up short on that one.
Three-pointer on the way, in the first points of the ball game for Ryan Richardson.
Richardson, one of those key guys when he's playing well. Weber State's unbeatable virtually, and right there, nice timely 3 to add pressure.
Drick Bernstein inside for North Dakota.
Good shot right there. They needed to get something going. They got to follow this up with a couple of defensive stops here.
That ends the run of 13 straight by Weber State. And a foul for an illegal screen. And a push-off on Weber State. It's on Ryan Richardson, his first. Richardson, who even Brian Jones, the coach of North Dakota, admitted to us, look, as good as Senglin is, Richardson's probably the X factor for Weber State.
Certainly feels like he is, and there you see good ball movement by North Dakota.
Gino Crandall off on a 3, and Kyndahl Hill the rebound. And there's a foul. And Corey Baldwin appears to be shaken up for North Dakota.
Not a good sign.
University of Nevada right here just up the street, and they're going dancing.
I tell you, do your research. If you see Nevada in your bracket, it will not be a cakewalk. Very capable team, up-tempo, great shooters, great scorers. And I think we witnessed the dunk of the year in Reno this year.
Jeremy Senglin. Now 7 of 7 at the line. The foul is on Corey Baldwin, who is shaken up, but it's also his 4th foul. Drick Bernstein attacks. Bernstein and 1.
You like saying that. Bernstein and one. Nice move.
Yeah, because I never did it.
You run the pick and roll, and you very rarely let the big man go on the move, but this is just a great move right there. Finishes with the wrong hand, but gets the and one. Normally, big men can't take it from 20 feet away, but Bernstein on the move with the finger roll.
Well, Brian Jones talking to us about him this morning as Bernstein gets the and one free throw. That I could do, Corey. But he was saying that he's such a unique player. He's a point forward. His skill set, you just don't see it very often. He had a triple-double in a ball game earlier this year, the second in North Dakota history.
And you can see a little bit of that skill set on display there. Usually that's a train wreck when you give big men the ball that far, but he's got a handle and can finish.
Shot clock at 5. Ryan Richardson steps into a 3. And the rebound, Gino Crandall. Here come the Fighting Hawks. Quentin Hooker in and out on the 3. Jeremy Singland pushes. And a reach in on Bernstein, his second. Weber State in the bonus. So Singland will head to the foul line. 11:02 to go. Weber State 63. Trying to North Dakota 57 as Weber State trying to win the Big Sky Championship for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. And North Dakota trying to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. .22 for Singland, who has had 20 or more in each of the last 6 games, and his 23rd 20-point game of the season.
And Roxy, it is so hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, as North Dakota found a way to sweep them in the regular season, but this is for all the marbles right now.
You subscribe to that theory? It's hard to beat it.
It is, because it's just, you've shown yourself twice, teams make adjustments, and sometimes guys dig a little bit deeper, because you get beat 3 times in a row, that's embarrassing. So it's that 3rd game, it's just a lot of different things at play.
It's out of bounds to North Dakota. We led it by 4 at the half. Weber State led by as many as 10 in the first half. And this is their largest lead of the second half. Foul. And Quentin Hooker on the drive, and it's against Cody John of Weber State, his second. And Quentin Hooker will go to the foul line to shoot a 1-and-1. 88% foul shooter, the top foul shooter in the Big Sky Conference. And Hooker was 6th in North Dakota history in scoring, 4th in steals, 4th in assists, and 3rd in steals. 2-time first team all Big Sky performer. He's had 14 20-point games himself this season. Is Greg Nixon, our lead official, going over to the scores table to check on something with our alternate Rick Batzel. .41 remaining. It's Weber State by 8.
Well, there's a lot of time remaining in this game for both teams to be in the bonus. And Roxy, we're talking about 2 lineups. There's 8 guards on the floor, so it's really going to come down to who can defend without fouling. If you can guard your man and contest outside jumpers, but the team that commits the fouls, there's going to be a free throw parade.
Gino Crandall, it spins out. Misses the front end, a 75% foul shooter.
Got to make those.
Cody John. Bodies went crashing, and there's a foul going for the rebound. And it's on North Dakota. And it's called against Josh Collins, sophomore from Minneapolis, his second.
Good take, trying to draw the contact. Good no call right there. Championship basketball, but then you see Hill gets bridged and takes a pretty hard tumble. He still looks a little bit shaken up, but he's 100% from the line. See if he can knock these down.
And Hill, who banged up his foot last night in their win against Eastern Washington. He's never missed a game in his Weber State career. And Kyndahl Hill will get one more. He has 11. 3 Wildcats in double figures, led by Sanglin's 23. Quentin Hooker has been quiet here in the second half, leading North Dakota with 12. In fact, Hooker has not scored here in the second half. They need to get him going.
They have to get him going, whether it's one-on-ones or give him some screens to get open.
On the offensive glass, Avance has his shot sent back by Kyndahl Hill.
Huge play right there as Hill erases a guaranteed two-point putback. Weber State fans coming to their feet. They can sense this may be a point where they can pull away in this game.
Senglin has it stripped. The quick hands of Quentin Hooker.
Oh, that was nice. Great one-on-one D.
To the basket. It falls off for Cortez Seals. And then bodies again falling all over the place. And it's a foul against Weber State.
Great, it counts. You can sweep them twice in the regular season, but tonight is the game for all the chips. And there you see the tight whistle, which usually does follow some chippy play. We've got a great crew of officials trying to clean it up, let guys know, get back to basics. All contact is being looked at from this point out.
Second on Ryan Richardson. The last one was not a shooting foul because of a player control foul. Quentin Hooker at the line. He is 0-1 at the line in this one, and a 1-1. And now he's 0-2 and still scoreless in the second half.
I don't live in hypotheticals, but that's about 4 points that the Hawks have left at the free throw line. That could haunt them down the stretch.
And a block. Connor Avance called for a second.
Avance trying to sell the charge. He's got both hands up, but on the second one, the ref's not going for it. Still moving, blocking foul.
Kyndahl Hill shooting 2. The double bonus the rest of the way for Weber State. And Hill rolls that one in. Weber State has matched their largest lead. Bernstein the rebound. North Dakota is just 2 of their last 14 from the floor.
Roxy, they've got to get back to creating those good looks for each other like they did in the first half.
Too much one-on-one play?
Yeah, and you see a tough shot right there.
But Quentin Hooker finally gets on the scoreboard here in the second half with a difficult 3.
And he was 2 for 7 up until that point. You knew that wasn't going to last. Big question, can they pair that up with some defensive stops?
Dusty Baker to Kyndahl Hill. Offensive foul.
There's the discipline we talked about. Hill takes off in a crowd. And Avance sacrifices the body. Right here, Hill gets it at the last second, comes right down the lane. You have no chance to block the shot, but you do have a chance to get in there and take the charge. Great play.
A good piece of officiating by Greg Nixon. Had his eyes on the feet of Avance to make sure he was outside the restricted area. Third foul on Hill. Bernstein down the lane. Tips it in, wave it off. Offensive goaltending interference.
Boy, Bernstein really wishes he could have that one back. That was a marvelous move. And he gets up off the floor before anybody else. He knows it's coming off. The officials say the ball was still in the cylinder, but oh, looks like it was rolling off. They don't have the advantage of our great camera work. That ball was coming back off the rim, came right to him, and he tipped it in. I don't agree with that call at all. See, Roxy, I am on your side.
Baker weaves his way inside. Dusty Baker and 1.
That's the second time Dusty Baker has just gone hard and gotten an and 1. Undersized, attacks the rim, goes right at the big man off the glass. If you're going to foul him, you got to get him a little bit harder than that with a name like Dusty. That's serious business.
Third foul on Avance. Weber State's been terrific at the line tonight. And that continues. And Baker now with 8 points. And the lead is back to 10, matching Weber State's largest.
And right now, Coach Brian Jones going with the smaller lineup, substituting a guard, trying to create some ball movement, some action, going with a quicker lineup, maybe to try to get that transition offense going.
Corey Baldwin back in the game with his 4 fouls. Lean in as Cortez Seals will head to the line. 10-point lead, Weber State, the 3 seed, leading the regular. Dusty Baker has Cortez Seals at the line. But North Dakota is struggling here in the second half, just 25% for the field. And Weber State shooting 55% for the ball game. One of the best shooting teams in college basketball. One more for Seals, who's now 2 of 4 at the stripe.
Well, one of the keys for Weber State's been the play of Harding. Those buckets he got early on to get the team rolling, get everybody's confidence going well. And then shortly after that, Senglin took over, and he's never really given it back.
Game high 23 for Jeremy Senglin, who tonight has become Weber State's all-time leading scorer. Nicely done by Weber State as Zach Braxton attacks off the feed. Largest lead for the Wildcats. Quentin Hooker gets leveled. He still gets the hoop to go.
How is that not and one? That's a beautiful move by Hooker. Lots of contact. The officials don't blow the whistle. That's crazy.
Shot clock at 10. Haven't said that very often in this one. Jarek Harding on the drive. Challenge at the rim by Drick Bernstein. Bernstein leads the break. Drops it off to Seals, but a foul, a block on Baker, his 4th. Before the pass and bucket, it's a block on Dusty Baker. And Bernstein will shoot free throws.
Playing both ends of the floor, makes the block, and then leads the break. Great drive, great drop off. Talked about that skill set. That's very impressive when your center makes the block and can bring it down.
A good call by Tommy Nunez. You could see Baker still sliding over as Bernstein went to his right to elude Baker.
Good body control, and you know North Dakota would have rather had that be a no call and got the 2 points.
10 for Drick Bernstein tonight. And Kyndahl Hill comes back as Baker will sit with the 4 fouls and 6:36 remaining.
Roxy, when you shoot the 3 as well as North Dakota does, it's not necessarily panic time. You've got a lot of time in the game, but you do need to start thinking about getting some stops because you don't want to trade baskets. There you see the nice pick and roll. He's making his presence felt here in the second half. He was sidelined with those early fouls, but the big fella putting it down for Weber State. They've been running the offense through him. Now he's got Hill on the floor as well. See if they go back inside.
They go inside to Zach Braxton. Braxton way off with the hook. And it's Gino Crandall jogging it up. Lost it trying to split the double team. It was kicked by Jarek Harding, and it stays with North Dakota. Here's Crandall, leans in, draws a foul, and one.
A sensational move by Crandall. So much of what they do is just guys creating in the one-on-one. This ball screen, he really doesn't have anything, but he takes over, comes down the lane, and somehow manages to get it to go. It's a great move, aggressive by Crandall.
Crandall now 0 of 2 at the line. 3rd foul on Ryan Richardson, but it's a 5-point game. Inside 6 minutes to go in Reno in this Big Sky Conference championship game. North Dakota trying to get to the big dance for the first time in school history. Regular season champs with 21 wins.
Look at the defense by Kyndahl in full court denial of Senglin.
Kyndahl Hill with a shot clock winding down, missing a corner three.
Credit Kyndahl with that stop. Outstanding defense on Senglin at the other end.
Goaltend counting as Kyndahl Hill thought he blocked it.
North Dakota has answered the call. Their transition offense is back, but it started on defense. Hill pins it to the glass, obvious goaltend. And Coach Randy Ray is going to want to talk to his troops right now.
8 straight. Kyndahl Hill backing down. Tough shot, he's fouled. If that's Avance, that's his 4th.
And you can see where Coach Randy Ray believes that they have the advantage out of that timeout. He calls an isolation play for Hill on the block, one-on-one.
2 shots for Kyndahl Hill. One more coming. He is a 75% foul shooter on the year. Last year was the top reserve in the Big Sky. 7th in Weber State history in rebounding, 4th in block shots. And the senior gets 1 out of 2. Connor Avance. Avance spins off. Tipped out to Jeremy Senglin. Brian Jones wanted a carry. And a foul is called on Gino Kyndahl, his 4th. As the freshman Jarek Harding going to the line.
And that's not a good foul right there by Kyndahl. It was obvious right in front of the officials. You had Harding pulling up for an early jump shot. Just want to contest that and kind of hope he misses.
So Harding, who started the last 4 games, averaging over 13 points as a starter. Now with 14 in this one. 3 of 3 at the line. And there were initial plans to redshirt Jarek Harding this year. And then in game 3, Randy Ray said, I got to play this kid. He's too good to sit. And all along, Harding wanted to play. He didn't want a redshirt. And it's turned into the correct decision by Randy Ray.
You got to love that when a kid has that kind of heart and wants to play. Great penetration in the drop-off right there. They'll get some free throws.
He goes from wanting to redshirt the kid to now starting at the end of the year.
Got a lot of heart. Here you see the penetration, a little shovel pass. And Senglin really didn't sell the charge, and you'll get hit with the blocking foul.
2nd foul on Senglin. Connor Avance, 75% foul shooter. And the struggles continue at the line for North Dakota. They're just 7 of 16 at the line. This is a good foul shooting team.
Yeah, we'd be looking at a tie game or better, but guys who just knock down their free throws.
Five-point lead for Weber State. They've led by as many as 11. They trailed at the half. Kyndahl Hill going to work. Bernstein the rebound, but a foul.
Late whistle. Official saying they got him across the elbow. And Hill really loves coming over his right shoulder with that jump hook.
3rd on Drick Bernstein. Kyndahl Hill back to the line. 5 of 8 at the stripe. One out of 2, but Braxton with the offensive rebound. North Dakota didn't box out.
Mental breakdown right there for the Hawks. They needed to secure that rebound. Now they're looking at another 30 seconds of defense.
Deflected out by Quentin Hooker. Under 4 minutes to play. Championship in school history. And Jeremy Senglin, the tournament MVP last year, hoping to be that again And also hoping for the same result that gets Weber State into the NCAA tournament.
With 4 minutes remaining in this contest, it is definitely time for some of that senior leadership. Best player on the team with the most experience. We'll see what he can do.
Shot clock at 3. Ryan Richardson, desperation shot way short and pulled down by Connor Avance in North Dakota. Weber State scoreless, or rather without a field goal for about 4 minutes now. But they've been cashing into the foul line. Quentin Hooker gets Ryan Richardson in the air and draws contact. 4th on Richardson.
Boy, is that a nice play by Hooker, who's known for the step back, just outthinks the defender.
There's foul trouble on both sides. Weber State, Dusty Baker, Ryan Richardson, 4 each. Cody John, Kyndahl Hill, Zach Braxton have 3. So the first of 3 rattles in for Hooker. He now has 18 points to lead North Dakota. While for the Fighting Hawks, Gino Crandall, Corey Baldwin, and Connor Avance all playing with 4. Rick Bernstein has 3. Top foul shooter in. The Big Sky goes 2 for 2, 1 more coming.
Roxy, I can't imagine what it's like defensively out there. You're talking about 4 guards on each team. Everybody's got great one-on-one moves. 40 minutes of up-tempo basketball. Not surprised we got a lot of foul trouble out there.
So Hooker with his 15th 20-point game of the season. And it cuts the Weber State lead in half. Shot clock at 10.
Great defense on Senglin.
Here's Senglin. Kyndahl Hill straight on. Rattles out, and the rebound, Connor Avance in North Dakota.
A stop when they needed one there for the Hawks.
Hooker for the tie. And it's Connor Avance pulling it out for the Fighting Hawks. Runner missed by Gino Crandall. Approaching 2:20 left in Reno.
I like what North Dakota's doing on defense. They're going full denial on Senglin late in the possession.
Kyndahl Hill, fade away. That one rims out. On the push, Cortez Seals. And the rebound, Kyndahl Hill comes flying in. Rick Bernstein tried to tie him up, but it's a foul.
Some great opportunities right there for North Dakota. They couldn't cash in. Tried to be cute right there and get the jump ball because they have the possession arrow. Kind of surprised Seals didn't take it all the way to the rim, but right here couldn't resist as Bernstein grabs the ball, trying to get the jump ball.
And that's the 4th on Rick Bernstein. Kyndahl Hill shooting 2. 6 of 10 at the line for Hill. Short.
Hill was once 4 for 5 and has kind of fallen off dramatically from the free throw line. These are crunch time free throws. Got to knock these down for the Wildcats.
And Kyndahl Hill makes it a 2-possession game. Quinn Hooker. North Dakota keeps it alive. Inside the final 2 minutes, and a foul out top on Jarek Harding of Weber State, his 3rd. Gino Crandall, who is 0 of 2 at the line, will shoot a pair here. Crandall 7 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists in the game.
Great line from that young man tonight. Played well at both ends of the floor. Most of the time, he's the guy that gets stuck trying to guard Senglin defensively, so he's had a full night on both ends.
Second team all Big Sky. And it's a 2-point game. Randy Ray getting another shooter and ball handler on the floor. Zach Braxton checking out. And Brian Jones, a North Dakota counter, and they go smaller as well.
Little chess match going on right now, Roxy. Both these coaches know there's about 3 or 4 possessions left in this game, and they want the right lineups and the right matchups.
Not free. Loose at midcourt. Harding recovers for Weber State. Sanglin a 3. Jarrett Harding chases it down. Timeout, Weber State.
But he can create in crunch time. It would not go into the post.
Sanglin to the basket. The follow by Kyndahl Hill.
And that's exactly why you let him go to work one-on-one. He gets it to the rim, then Hill comes in with the monster jam. Great offensive possession right there for Weber State.
Inside a minute to go. Quentin Hooker on the drive. The runner. And it's Kyndahl Hill, the rebound and a foul.
Not the best shot for North Dakota. But at the other end, you break down the defense, get it on the rim, and let the big fella do the rest. As Bernstein has to come over and help out, they get the missed layup, but no one else gets in front of Hill, and he sends it home.
Third foul on Quentin Hooker, and it's Kyndahl Hill back to the foul line. Double-double for Hill. 7 of 12 at the line. His 5th double-double on the season. He has 18. His season high is 19 against Northern Colorado. And Hill has tied his season high. His career high last year against South Dakota State, 21. And a trip will put Crandall to the line with 48 seconds to play, and Ryan Richardson is fouled out. Richardson fouls out with 48 seconds remaining. And Gino Crandall will shoot 2 here for North Dakota.
Be interesting to see if North Dakota sets some type of pressure or trap after these free throws. If he makes them both, it's still a 2-possession game. You can't afford to let Weber State run 30 seconds off the clock.
Cody John replaces Richardson, who is fouled out. Crandall hits the first. Now 3 of 5 at the line. He has 10 points. He had a career high 31 earlier this year against Weber State. It's back to a 4-point game.
And here's the press.
Booth knocked free for Baker, and a steal for North Dakota. Kyndahl Hill blocks the shot. Out of bounds. North Dakota ball.
It's exactly what we were talking about, Roxy. Set that press, get the ball to someone other than Sanglin, and Weber State coughs it up.
The time. Gino Crandall into Quentin Hooker. Hooker and 1. 4th on Cody John. And a quick bucket and an and 1 for North Dakota.
That's just a great call out of the timeout. ISO from the top of the key where there's no help. Takes him right to the rack, dives in his chest. Great play. He'll have a chance to get 3 with hardly any time going off the clock.
Left it short, and the top foul shooter in the Big Sky is now 3 of 5 at the line. How do you play this defensively for North Dakota?
If Sanglin gives up the ball, you go full denial, you contest, and you rebound. You have a chance to tie or win, but it all starts with defending without committing the foul.
So you play it out and no foul.
Absolutely.
Get the stop. Shot clock. Rolling down is Sanglin. Wild in the lane, lost it. Crandall to the basket. And we're tied. Gino Crandall. Jeremy Sanglin without a timeout ahead. The freshman Harding blocked. We're going overtime. Cortez Seals comes over to block it after Gino Crandall's transition bucket tied the ball game. And for North Dakota, trying to get to the big dance for the first time in school history. And Weber State trying to win the Big Sky Tournament Championship for the third time in 4 seasons. Will retip it. And that'll put the game clock back to 5.
Both coaches coming out with their big lineups, a pair of big men for both squads. We'll see how that plays out, if the guards still have an impact on this game, or will they both try to score inside.
And it's Zach Braxton winning the tip, and Weber State has the ball first in the extra session. Trying to make it a double championship for the Braxton family. His sister won one earlier today in the Big Sky Women's Championship. Montana State.
You can just see a different intensity out of North Dakota in terms of defense. They're up on all these screens. They're rotating late in the possession.
Shot clock, desperation 3. Cody John the miss, and Connor Avance the rebound.
That's what it's about. 5 guys playing together in crunch time, doing their job, not leaving any openings.
Quentin Hooker off the window, and Bernstein the offensive rebound and a reset for North Dakota. Gino Crandall, whose bucket sent us to overtime. 10 to shoot. Quentin Hooker, the leaner, gets the roll.
Hooker is so solid as a guard. He just wants to use his body, get the defender on his hip. And if you don't foul him, he's strong enough to finish.
North Dakota the first points in overtime in their first lead since early in the second half. Jeremy Sanglin. Jarek Harding, a corner 3.
Big time shot for the freshman in overtime, giving his team a lift.
Weber State by 1. Nice pass to Avance down the lane to feed from Gino Crandall.
That's that ball movement we saw in the first part of the game out of North Dakota, the penetrating and the cutting and the sliding. Looks like they got back on rhythm.
Jeremy Sanglin. Collision, a block, and Connor Avance has fouled out.
What a tough call for North Dakota, as Avance thought he was there. Sanglin, to his strong hand, penetrates. He's there. I got to say, he's there. He's there with his hands up, feet set. But
Here's
he doesn't
look.
What else do you want? That's a tough call. But life goes on in overtime.
Connor Avance, the sophomore, fouls out with 13 points. 2:41 left in overtime. And Jeremy Sanglin, who's 9 of 9 at the line, 23 points for now Weber State's all-time leading scorer as he moved past Bruce Collins in this championship game.
An interesting note about that last possession. That was the first time in a long time Sanglin got his left hand. They have been keeping him on the right side of the floor the entire second half.
Weber State seesaws in front. .13 lead changes, 7 ties. Quentin Hooker will head to the line. And it's on Jarek Harding, his 4th.
Quentin Hooker has figured out that if he can turn the corner and draw contact, he's got a great opportunity.
I stand corrected, it's the 5th, so Harding is fouled out now.
That's a huge blow to Weber State.
So 2 Weber State Wildcats have fouled out. Richardson, now Harding, and Avance has fouled out for North Dakota. Cody John has 4 fouls. Dusty Baker 4 fouls for Weber State. Rick Bernstein, Corey Baldwin, Gino Crandall all with 4 for North Dakota. And Quinn Hooker ties the game. .25 now for the senior. Trying to lead North Dakota into the big dance. And he puts North Dakota on top.
Now they'll move Senglin to the 2 position and let McCannon play the point. The sophomore coming in the game ice cold. Got to make some plays.
McCannon did not play last night. And here comes North Dakota. He's getting some crunch time minutes here in overtime in this Big Sky Championship.
It's going to be his defense that makes the difference. They're not going to look to him to score, but defensively, he cannot blow an assignment out there.
Shot clock at 10. Quinn Hooker. Down to 5 to shoot. Gino Crandall attacks. The teardrop from Gino Crandall.
Crandall takes the sophomore off the dribble. No surprises there. He saw a free lunch, and he took it.
Largest lead in overtime for either team. 90 seconds to go in the extra session. And a foul, and Rick Bernstein has fouled out.
This is the matchup you want late in the possession. Crandall out front just takes it. Nice floater over Braxton. Body control, gets to the paint, doesn't pick up the charge, drops it off. Big time finish.
Jeremy Senglin at the line. Misses. Now 11 of 12 at the line.
And that's fatigue right there, Roxy. He's been counted on to score. He's played at such a high level. They're shading him on defense, sometimes with 2 or 3 players.
26 for Senglin. 89-87 North Dakota.
Roxy, at this point, for both teams, it's simply about what you have left in the tank. It's been a battle, and we'll see a timeout right here to organize the offense. Or Crandall will probably go one-on-one, searching for some contact.
Here is Quentin Hooker.
Straight 1-4 flat. This is old school.
Off a Carson Shank screen. Foul on Zach Braxton, number 4.
And that's been the most common foul in college basketball all season. Ball screens where you have a 5-man trying to step out against a point guard. It is insane. I don't know why coaches have those guys do it. It's always a foul.
Hooker 5 of 7 at the line. During the season, the top foul shooter in the Big Sky Conference. And it's a 2-possession game. Here comes Cannon. Dusty Baker moves down the lane, and he threw it away. But it's the last touch by North Dakota. They're claiming they didn't touch it, and Brian Jones wants a review. And they may go aim to send it to overtime. And North Dakota with a 4-point lead.
They got to get something good, something pretty quick here.
Jeremy Senglin. Cody John had it knocked free. Hooker picks it up, and he traveled. A walk on Quentin Hooker.
Oh, my goodness. North Dakota plays outstanding defense. They get the turnover right here. And just a shuffle of the feet. They've got a 3-on-1, and an obvious travel gives it back to the Wildcats.
Weber State needs to go, and a sense of urgency here for the Wildcats. Jeremy Senglin to Kyndahl Hill, and he's fouled. Hill will shoot 2. And it's on Carson Shanks, his first.
Nice unselfish play right there by Senglin. He breaks the defense down, but knows better than to challenge a 7-footer. Drops it off to his big man. See what Hill can do from the line.
Kyndahl Hill is 9 of 14 at the line. Season high 20 points.
We'll see what kind of pressure Weber State sets up in after the free throw.
2-point game, timeout Weber State. And Kyndahl Hill has tied his career.
Hooker, who are both out at midcourt right now.
Cortez Seals will play it in. Gets it into Crandall, and he's grabbed by Senglin, his 3rd foul. So a quick foul will put North Dakota back at the line. And for Gino Crandall, he is 4 of 6 at the line today. 75% for the line on the season. Second team All Big Sky shooting 2. And it was his bucket that tied it late in regulation that sent us to overtime. One more for Crandall. This could make it a 2-possession game again. And now some pressure from North Dakota. Senglin on the move. Pull-up 3. Too strong, tipped out by Baker. Senglin a long 3. Kyndahl Hill saves it. And Hooker grabs it ahead. Corey Baldwin will try to run out some clock. And North Dakota, for the first time in school history, is headed to the NCAA tournament.